You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter day, and happy birthday to the Pisces of the world. Alexandra Daddario is a Pisces, Joelle MB, Janae Aiko, Lauren Graham, Blake Griffin, Jerry Lewis, Flavor Flav. Lots of Pisces to celebrate today, including my aunt. It's her birthday today as well. So if you know someone celebrating, we would love to send some love their way. And I would love to know how the energy is feeling for you, because I'm streaming much later than I normally stream. And the energy, even if you know about it, sometimes these transits kind of kick your butt. And I'm right there today. So I would love to know how the energy is feeling for you. We touched on this triple conjunction in Pisces, the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. Neptune, the Sun, and Mercury all meeting up and all squaring Mars together. So just in general right now, we're sensitive, we're anxious, we might be feeling a little bit antsy. And as I've been riding the wave and experiencing all of it, I have realized that it feels like we're waiting for this big reset of spring. And in the next couple days leading up to spring, the astrological new year, Aries season, a new moon on Tuesday, I believe. It's like everything that we kind of packed away for winter, everything that is no longer coming with us into the next season might be surfacing for you, or you might just be feeling a lot of things, and that's okay. It's all welcome here. Rachel says, whoa, today is a lot. Yeah, lots of twists and turns, literally holding on to my seat on this roller coaster of a day. Yeah, a lot of unexpected stuff happening too. The moon is connecting with Uranus today, and I didn't think it would be so much surprising energy, but you might have experienced this afternoon some surprises, some upsets even. I feel the exact same way. Nick, good for you. I grounded myself in nature, but was doing yard work, then crashed and took a nap today. Naps, totally acceptable. Going to sleep early, totally acceptable. And yeah, grounding in nature. I know we talked about that yesterday, but until I actually did that this afternoon, I was not doing well. So if you're feeling antsy or anxious or anything, and it's not too cold or rainy, or the weather is decent to where you are, I would just go outside for 5 minutes and put your feet or your hands on the earth. That might help under this Capricorn moon. So yes, let's check in. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Capricorn, and we're going to get right into all of the transits that are playing out, because there are five major transits to talk about today. I'm also curious, I know Katie mentioned this a couple days ago, but my mic hasn't been working and I've been sounding a little echoey. I'm just wondering if the mic sounds echoey still. Just might as well workshop this while we're here together, right? So let's get into the forecast. Okay. First thing this morning, Mercury conjunct Neptune. If you are a Gemini rising or a Virgo rising like me, wow, is this transit going to make us feel sensitive? Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Actually, let me pull up the chart so you can just see what we're working with all of this Pisces energy, a lot of Aries energy as well still today. It is like that tug of war between endings and new beginnings, that liminal space that feels like, okay, we're so ready for spring, but we still got to wrap up these things from winter. And we have Mercury and Neptune together at 25 degrees right now. The sun just passing both of them 1 degree ahead. But for all intents and purposes, this is a triple conjunction in Pisces, and they're all squaring Mars at the same time. So I just wanted to show you that square with your own eyeballs so you can see what we're dealing with. Also feeling a square between Venus and Pluto today, which we'll get into in just a moment. Lots to talk about and lots of tension. Oh, good. I sound better today. Lack of an echo today. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you all. Definitely learned some new information about a family member. Just trying to process, hoping it's not as crazy as I'm thinking. Try not to go down the rabbit hole. Try not to go down the rabbit hole. It's easy to do that with all this Pisces energy. Speaking of going down the rabbit hole, Mercury conjunct Neptune. This is a beautiful transit. If it was just by itself, if there wasn't all this other craziness happening, I would love this, right? It's great for dreaming. It's great for tapping into the subconscious and expressing our artistic side. We're more compassionate in our communication. We're more empathetic. And that is something I am noticing from people around me. I'm personally very irritable today, but I've noticed that other people are really compassionate and empathetic towards me today and towards each other today. And so it is a little easier to tap into that with Mercury conjunct Neptune. We might even find ourselves falling down a spiritual rabbit hole or a fantasy a little bit because our mind just wants to check out and wander with Mercury conjunct Neptune and Pisces. It wants to drift. So this is a beautiful day to dream big, allow your imagination to go. That might be a nice outlet for all the tension too, to check out into a fantasy, whether it's you creating something or witnessing someone else's creation, watching a movie, getting lost in a book, like giving yourself somewhere to get lost into feels very natural for this energy. And this transit was exact at about 10 a.m. Pacific time, but as you just saw on the chart, Mercury and Neptune are still right there next to each other. And we'll have a Mercury cazimi early tomorrow morning. So it does feel like we're still in the fog right now. We're still in that wandering and pondering and imagining and just letting our rational mind take a back seat for a little bit. So this is not the day to make decisions, to sign contracts, but just to let your mind wander. Similar to the energy of the Sun conjunct Neptune, which is still playing out today as well. Now, the next transit that became exact was the Sun squaring Mars right after Neptune and Mercury met up with each other. So first, the sun, a little bit ahead of those two planets, started squaring Mars this morning. We've been feeling this all day. Heightened anxiety because the sun is in Pisces, really shining light on our sensitivities. Not just like, oh, I'm so sensitive, but we are more perceptive. We can feel energy more easily, other people's energy, with so much Pisces transit astrology playing out. So this transit does make us aware of other people's energy, our own energy, and it might feel like you have a lot to move through you or kind of some energy to burn, but like the question is, what do I do with this? And that's where anxiety can come in. It's like my mind is wandering, my body wants to move. With Neptune, the Sun, and Mercury all conjunct in Pisces, it feels very in the mind or neck up, if that makes sense. Like we're drifting off, we're not in our body. But Mars is reminding us, and the Capricorn moon reminding us of, hey, we are humans. And this clash between needing to move energy, and especially Mars and Gemini, like we want to be stimulated and we want to do something with the energy that's coming in. But all the Neptune Pisces energy just feels very confusing. What do we do? When do we do it? What do we do first? How do we prioritize? There's a sense of restlessness, impatience, but also like, do I really know what I'm doing right now? It just feels very confusing. When the sun squares Mars too, our emotions can feel stronger than normal. I say emotions because the sun is in Pisces, so those sensitivities can just feel like they're being poked. And this square, I mean, I think I've said irritation already, but it just feels kind of irritating. Like there's like an itch that you can't fully scratch. So moving energy through your body with all of these planets squaring Mars feels like it might be helpful. Just we talked about this yesterday, but giving your mind something to anchor to, or even your body something to anchor to, like, okay, muscle memory here. Let's do something. Let's move this energy through us through yoga flow or a walk, or put on some music and let our mind anchor to that so it's not just bouncing around in the clouds. That was the first part of the day. We're just getting started though. Then, as Venus made her last little transit through Aries, she squared Pluto right before moving into Taurus. So not only are we sensitive and irritable because of this triple conjunction squaring Mars, but also we had Venus at the anaretic degree, making us indulgent, making us a little irritable, passionate, like this restlessness to get on to the next thing. We just want to feel comfortable. Venus is about to move into Taurus. Spoiler alert, Venus is in Taurus now, thank goodness. But all morning, even late last night, feeling like, okay, we just want to be comfortable, and like not even being able to satiate that desire. I think all of us as humans, I mean, our ancestors for thousands of years have been celebrating the spring equinox and this point of year. We're looking around. We know that we're in this space between winter and spring, and we know that reset is coming. We know it's just a few days away. So that's only adding to the restlessness. And I think that's part of the whole Venus moving into Taurus. Like Venus in Taurus now feels very comfortable. It's more grounded. It's more sensual. It's tapping into our body and our needs. But all morning, we just wanted to get there already. We just wanted it to feel comfortable. So the square to Pluto only amplified that, bringing up shadows, of course, in relationships, finances, in what we see as beautiful. It's like all the discomfort that we've been experiencing really came to a head midday. Sudden changes, not only because of what we talked about with the moon connecting with Uranus, but also Venus squaring Pluto can be this like death and rebirth in relationships, abrupt shifts. Passions are running high with Venus in Aries, and Pluto on the other end of this square makes us want to control and manipulate, especially at the 29th degree. We just want it to feel comfortable, and maybe it's a little more comfortable to be in control and manipulating the situation, although it's probably not for our highest good, right? So the transformation happening might feel uncomfortable. In fact, we might not even know what stage of the death and rebirth we're at right now. It's like we're in this cocoon, we're dissolved, and we don't really know when we're going to be able to emerge as butterflies yet. We know spring is coming. We know our time is coming. It's just really uncomfortable being in the goo, being in the cocoon. So this square between Venus and Pluto could mark the end of something, the beginning of something else when it comes to finances, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to our values, or, it could be both. It could be that point that's like, okay, that's falling away, so this has space to grow. Now, though, Venus is in Taurus, so let's chat about that. Even with Venus moving into Taurus, I want to talk slower. I just ate a cookie right before I came on here. That is Venus in Taurus. Yes, I'm excited for this energy. Rachel said, I just realized this is also opposing my ascendant, just highlighting that T-square with my Mars and North Node. Definitely went on a walk today just to stay calm. You have the tools, Rachel, and you also know that you are feeling it even more strongly than maybe I am or someone else watching. So give yourself grace. That goes for the next few days. That goes until Aries season. Give yourself plenty of freaking grace, my friends. Grace, and other people. and other people. Yeah, Nikki, this is a great example. Getting ready to do a spring body cleanse, detox spring. Yeah, Pluto's moving into Aquarius next week as well. So not only do we know spring is coming, but we can sense Pluto starting another 20-year transit in Aquarius. And that can be jarring as well. Like we're feeling that, right? So yeah, it's like we know something is coming. Venus and Taurus can help us calm down a little bit though. So let's chat about it. Venus is exalted here. Venus rules Taurus, so she loves to be here. And this just gives us full permission to indulge. Spend the money, call the money in, right? Like put it out to receive it back. Venus and Taurus is like, we have plenty. We're comfortable. The song Cozy by Beyonce is like Venus and Taurus. That is the vibe. If you haven't heard it, it's like cozy is the new black. So we'll be attracted to softer clothes, that cozy blanket, sweatpants. Yes. Or just like finer things in life, luxurious feeling things, nice food, like not just wanting to go and get something just to satiate our hunger, but wanting it to be really tasty, like a little morsel, we want it to taste really good. Yeah. Baking oatmeal cookies, very addicted to sweets. Perfect for Venus and Taurus. Exactly. If it feels good, expect to be drawn to it in the next couple weeks. I will say Venus and Taurus, Venus loves to be here because it's very physical. Taurus rules the physical, the 3D. So physical, sensual pleasure, tapping into that over the next 3 weeks. We came here to feel the full range of things in our bodies, right? Not just touching things that feel nice, but allowing ourselves to fully feel pleasure, touching other people. Hugs. We talked a lot about hugs yesterday, but just really being in the sensuality of what it means to be human, the human experience. This, again, is a great transit to work with money. Taurus energy rules money. Venus is the planet of money. So if you're calling in money, doing some money rituals under the new moon in Aries next week would be really powerful. Or, making like investing in yourself a little bit. Maybe buying yourself that thing that you've been saying, oh, I can't afford it, or I don't have enough money right now, and signaling to the universe, no, I'm worth this. I deserve this. I value myself enough to give myself this thing, knowing, having faith that more abundance will flow to me. If I'm willing to use the abundance I already have, more will flow to me. So really working with the concept of abundance with Venus and Taurus. Not just with money, but looking around at, money bought all the things around you, most likely, even if you didn't pay for them. Somebody along the way paid for them. There was an energy exchange of money there along the way. So noticing as you look around, wow, I already have so much abundance around me. Look at what I've already amassed for myself in my physical environment. This is proof that I am abundant and that I can call in more of this, please. Reflecting on what we value as well, getting really clear on our values, really tapping into what feels good, what feels like a yes in our body can help us become more aligned with the abundance we really want to call in as well, right? So that's something I've been personally reflecting on, not just being like, abundance, come to me, but like, what does that look like? What do I want to come to me? Because abundance can look like so many things. Abundance can look like the sun shining after a week of rain today and me sitting under the sun. That is abundance. But specifically, that can be kind of scary too, being like, no, this is what I want the abundance to look like when it comes in, this or better. Air hugs to help everybody get their 8 hugs needed per day, right? I don't know if air hugs count, but energetic air hugs, I'm sure, help a little bit. Yes, think of Madonna. Have a bunch already in this material world. Yes, we are material beings. We are made of the things that are abundant, right? So also just if you are watching this right now, you are abundant. If you are breathing on your own right now, you are abundant. If you have your health and you're able to walk around, that is abundance. So recognizing where you're already very abundant and maybe where you want to call more abundance in with Venus and Taurus. Rachel said, super interesting. I woke up this morning to a text from a friend, and I also just booked my first client for reading birth charts. Abundance, baby. We love that. And that was happening as Venus was opposing your rising sign, or your ascendant. So just proof that an opposition can call that into you, right? It was like that restlessness, like something needed to happen. Love it. Love it. Okay, one more major transit to talk about, just kind of tapping back into what's going on with Mercury. Mercury is sort of the headliner today because he's finally getting into the mix, fully into the mix of this triple conjunction squaring Mars. So we have Mercury squaring Mars at about 10 p.m. Pacific time overnight. With Mercury in Pisces, aggressive dreams, disruptive sleep, definitely possible. In general, when Mercury squares Mars, we want to move quicker. Mercury and Mars are both known for action and moving quickly and doing things, right? So it's like we really want to make fast moves tonight, and we might be a little confused as well. There's definitely the potential for anxiety and heightened stimulation late tonight too. If you live on the West Coast or in a Western time zone, I would imagine it might be hard to wind down and fall asleep tonight with Mercury squaring Mars. Our mind will likely be very active, and there's just kind of this sense of restlessness that comes along with this transit. It's like, slow down, okay? Accidents are possible if we don't slow down and take intentional steps, because Mercury's in Pisces, we're not seeing the full picture. Mars in Gemini, it's just very quick moving and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like flighty. It's very flighty energy. So Mercury is in this murky sign. Mars is in a stimulating sign. It's like, again, it's like trying to run through mud. We just want to move, and that can be really anxiety inducing. We might even blurt things out because we want to move our body, but we're not doing that. And so the energy comes out in some way, right? Coming across as mindless or confusing in our communication. Miscommunication is possible. Miscommunication can lead to arguments under this transit, with Mars on the other side of this square, irritation in the way we're communicating. So again, slowing down, being really mindful about the point you're trying to get across late tonight. Everyone's probably going to be feeling a little bit irritable, anxious, mentally agitated in some way with Mercury squaring Mars. So grace, give yourself grace, give other people grace, and slow down. Lean into Venus and Taurus to slow down and tap into your body and give yourself what you need before you keep running. The new moon is coming, spring is coming. I really love that Venus just moved into Taurus, even amidst all of this action and agitation, as that reminder. We're here to enjoy the human experience. It's okay to take a break, even in the midst of the rat race you're running, right? It's okay to stop if you're running a marathon and take a drink of water. Nourish your body, nourish your mind, nourish yourself. It will all get done exactly when it's supposed to. The abundance will flow exactly when it's supposed to. There's no need to force it right now. And something else that's really helping us stay grounded and slow down is the waning crescent moon in Capricorn. This is not a time to make things happen. It's a time to surrender. It's a time to let go, get quiet, lean into the darkness of the moon that's becoming darker and darker every night, releasing our grip on the need to make it happen, even fully exiting the program that we've been running, becoming more emotionally aware of all of the rules that we've been subscribing to, that we've been placing on ourselves and other people. Getting off the hamster wheel, as we talked about yesterday, just giving ourselves a break, grounding into nature like Nick demonstrated, slowing down and letting ourselves rest a little bit, because spring is coming. The energy is going to keep building, which is so fun. Just remembering we don't have to find success right now. Finding peace in the present moment can actually provide more value and more longevity, because it allows us to go longer if we're taking care of ourselves along the way, right? Okay, 2 moon transits to talk about. The energy we woke up under, 5 a.m. Pacific time, 8 a.m. Eastern time, was a square between the moon and Chiron and Jupiter. Yes, there is still that conjunction playing out between Chiron and Jupiter in Aries as well. So not only do we have this triple conjunction over here in Pisces, but we also have Jupiter and Chiron conjunct in Aries. We've talked about this in the past couple days, but essentially Jupiter conjunct Chiron is amplifying our wounds, amplifying our healing. And sometimes that process is one and the same. So not only are we feeling sensitive and irritable, but our wounds feel like they're under this giant microscope and we're like, oh gosh, we've got to address that. We got to patch that up and take care of that, right? So the moon is squaring this morning. The conjunction between Jupiter and Chiron might have woken us up, kind of like, whoa, we're awake. Okay, the moon squaring Jupiter can make us feel like overly optimistic or overly ambitious or even overly generous, but also with the moon squaring Chiron, it can really amplify our triggers too. All part of the energy of this day. I tried to warn y'all yesterday, like, this is the peak of the energy, the culmination point of this whole triple conjunction. Today feels like it's the most tense of this whole wave we're riding. It seems like it should start to get a little easier after Mercury passes through the sun. That happens tonight, and we'll touch on that at the very end of this, but we'll also talk about it tomorrow. So Mercury squared Chiron and Jupiter. It just makes us feel big things, right? There's kind of this push to achieve, but also we might be noticing the ways that we're neglecting ourselves or ignoring our intuition or, kind of the wounding that comes with constantly forcing and pushing. So remember, today, healing is also part of the path to success. It can't all just be about work and money and practicality. Like, taking care of ourselves along the way is also part of what makes people successful. I think of very successful people, and the ones who tend to have the best longevity and tend to be the most mentally sharp and able to work and follow their passions later in life are the ones that take care of their bodies the best, right? So take that with what you will. What's the phrase? Anyway, the other transit, and this is where the changes might have come in, moon trine Uranus, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. The moon harmonized with Uranus. This makes us open to change. Again, we're kind of eager for change. We know it's coming. We're open to change. We're open to innovation today. We're open to doing things differently, and staying open can bring in fortunate surprises, but disruptions can also unfold as well. And with everything squaring Mars, it's like, oh, that could be a little irritating, even though this is a harmonious aspect between the moon and Uranus. This can help us tap into our intuition, though. So I think especially over the next couple of days, as this Pisces triple conjunction sort of dissolves and we soak in the last few days of Pisces season, it's an invitation to not only slow down and take care of ourselves, but to really get comfortable in our intuition. So when Aries season starts and we've got that fire under us and we're ready to go, we already have that connection with ourselves. We already have that conversation going between our mind and our intuition, or just with our intuition in general, kind of helping to guide us and take the most aligned steps as spring gets going. So Uranus can help bring in some intuitive energy as well. And today you might have also noticed things changed in order to make the path a little bit clearer, or that might be something still in the works, something changing, something shifting, and it feeling a little abrupt, it feeling maybe a little irritating or annoying, but also answering some of the questions you've been having for you. Right? Like, just this is shifting into place over here or out of place over here to open us up for something else when we didn't really know which way to go. Had a hard time sleeping last night. I slept in. You and me both. You weren't joking about this day. I just feel like I'm all over the place. Oh my gosh. Me too. but it's like reinforcing the lessons we've been learning with the rest and that slowdown. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of just, I mean, I was putting this off and my mind was going a million different places all day. I was like really pushing myself to get a lot of other work done, but also feeling all out of sorts. Cried a couple times already today, just feeling super sensitive about everything and everyone. And I will say, it's very helpful to know that this is happening, but just because we know it's happening doesn't mean we're exempt from it, right? We can have these reminders. Something that keeps coming up for me today, a mantra I keep telling myself is let it be messy. It's okay if it's a little messy today. It's okay if you show up a little bit messy today. It's okay if it's not perfect. And kind of coming back to that cocoon analogy, we're going to emerge as the butterflies in the spring, but right now, this is the time to let it be messy. This is the time to just, yeah, we might have to get our asses in gear come the spring equinox, come Aries season, but we still have a few days to be a little bit of a mess. We still have a few days of Pisces season, okay? I did yoga instead of high exercise this week to keep calm. I love that. Wow, Nick was up late too. I like the random naps that pop up during Pisces season as well. What do I think of the bank in Silicon Valley closing? I think Pluto's at 29 degrees of Capricorn and systems are still crumbling. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens when Pluto moves back into Capricorn later this year, because Pluto moves into Aquarius, but it's going to move back into Capricorn during its retrograde. Of course, it'll be back at the 29th degree of Capricorn. So I think, yeah, big things happening on the world stage. Pluto moving into Aquarius might bring some like huge tech innovation or announcement, especially at that 0 degree that it'll be at for a couple weeks. And then we might see some advancement. I could see some stuff with like crypto or AI coming out with Pluto in Aquarius, maybe some scientific stuff, who knows? And I think we'll see, we're in a recession. I was just telling my partner today, I went to order dog food. And when I first started ordering this dog food, it was like $65 for a 30-pound bag. And now it's $100. It's $100. I'm like, that has almost doubled in price for the dog's food. It's crazy. So I think we're going to feel that pressure still, even when Pluto moves into Aquarius. And I think the revisiting of Pluto moving back into Capricorn will force us to review the inflation, the banking system, the crumbling that we've been experiencing over the past several years with Pluto in Capricorn. That's just my prediction. We'll talk about it more next week. Embrace the mess. Yeah, I was in my robe and my pajamas all day. Like, I did not get like this until right before I streamed. This is a miracle that this happened today. And even then, I'm like, how can I still? I've been wearing sweats for like 3 days straight. I'm just like, I refuse to put on real clothes right now. It's okay to be a little messy sometimes, especially those of us who have a lot of Virgo energy in our charts. It's okay. It's okay to be a little messy sometimes. Yeah. All right. So that is the forecast. And today's affirmation is, I am riding the waves of life. Riding the waves can be a little messy, right? If you're in an ocean, you're going to get messy. There's no way to not get messy. You're going to get salty. You might get some shells and sand and seaweed, all up in your business. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but it's okay. We're riding the waves. We're letting it happen. Thanks. Thank you. I am proud of you too. And I appreciate you all going with my flow. Hang 10 and don't wipe out. Yeah, we're just riding the wave. We're riding the wave, but there's probably going to be a wipeout at some point, and that can be a little messy too. Enjoying the roller coaster. Another great analogy. We're going to come off of that roller coaster probably looking like a mess, right? Like our hair just went every which way. We went upside down. That's okay. It's okay. Let it be messy. I gotta clean up some of my mess, going with the flow, all in divine timing. Spring's the time to clean. They call it spring cleaning for a reason. Just, I know you're a Virgo too. Ruminate sit in the messiness. I find that as a Virgo, like I sometimes have to give myself full permission to be like a total mess for sometimes a few days. The live stream helps me not be a mess for days on end, but like I just have to be a total mess for a couple days in order to like go back into having it together a little bit. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Jackie. I too have been a mess, sleeping and resting today because that's what my body demanded. I love that. Thank you for the notion to give myself grace. I was wondering what the heck is going on with me, and this live answered all my questions and gave me peace. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, so if you, like me, need permission sometimes to just be a mess, to just give yourself rest, to not keep pushing and going and doing, just be a mess. Just be a mess. And I will say that clarity is coming. Before we finish up with a card pull, I want to point out that tonight, again, I mentioned this, tonight at about 3 a.m. Pacific time, 6 a.m. Eastern time, so it'll be tomorrow morning, we have Mercury Cazimi. So a reminder, Mercury Cazimi is when Mercury passes through the heart of the sun and sort of takes the sun's throne for a second. Keep that journal handy. Pings of insight, flashes of clarity could come through during Mercury Cazimi as Mercury gets ready to exit Pisces, where it is very confusing and foggy, and move into Aries, where we're moving forward. We're taking our ideas and putting them into action. So that's coming in the next few days. And tonight, tomorrow morning, during Mercury Cazimi, it's usually just that window, that couple-hour window, that we can really experience the full effects of Mercury and the sun conjunct. And it might even be that like inspiration hits. It might not be like, oh, here's an idea to form a business off of. It might just be like, be the light. You know, some inspirational mantra comes to you and you're like, whoa, that just opened up my whole perception of everything. So clarity is coming. Clarity is coming, and not a moment too soon, honestly. We are going to pull from the Lightworker Oracle deck today. This is my deck when I'm like, Lord, I need a little guidance. This is the deck I go to when I'm like, all right, we need a powerful message. So I was definitely feeling that today. I have been feeling that today, just feeling a lot. And I'm like, this was my first deck. Always has my back. So we're going to see what message is coming through for us. As always, this is your chance to ask any final questions, share any final insights, or just take a moment to breathe. I think let's all take a deep breath together, giving yourself the gift of the deepest breath you've taken all day. Here we go. Breathing in from your root through your crown. Holding it, maybe sipping in a little more air, and then just let it go and let it be messy. Like let it just go. It's okay to be messy. All right. We'll ask the universe, what do we need to know? Interesting. Very similar message as yesterday. Card number 19, an invitation to connect. Remember, our card yesterday was You Are Not Alone, and it was all about connecting with other people physically in your environment, and reaching out. We talked a lot about giving hugs. Okay. These are somewhat long descriptions, so let me get a sip, and we'll dive in. Here we are. An invitation to connect. Love exists throughout our universe. Many loving beings that do not belong to the human race exist in worlds beyond the earthly realm. Among these are those who are aware of the spiritual plight of humanity and are willing and able to help us move forward. Unlike those who close their minds because they fear the unknown, you have an open mind and an open, receptive heart. Beings from other worlds recognize you as a receptive channel for their unconditionally loving assistance in this world. You will both benefit from this individually and help the planet, so you are being offered an invitation to connect. There are many dimensions to existence. For those who are developing evolved sensory perception, hello Pisces season, The senses will not be restricted to being impressed upon by the physical dimension. There are higher dimensions that the psychic or emotional nature can recognize, and even more refined dimensions that the higher mind can recognize. Beyond that, there are dimensions that the mind, even in the most expansive state, cannot grasp, but the spirit knows to be real. The more your sensitivity to subtle energy evolves, the more aware you become of these worlds beyond this world. For some, this will be easy to accept and will inspire interest in learning more. Others may be tentative about exploring connections with non-earthly beings. Great peace can grow in the heart of those who are unafraid, who are open to the idea of beings that are aware of humanity but not human themselves, who want to help humanity evolve and have the spiritual power to be able to do so. No matter how mixed up and consumed by darkness the world may seem at times, there are so many powers of light working to see the earth and humanity through this most interesting time, to see us into the new age of spiritual enlightenment. It's all part of this divine experiment of life, and there are many forces invested in the successful and loving evolution of humanity. If you've been contemplating life beyond the earth, perhaps talking to the stars, like we do here, or gazing wistfully at other planets, if you've been intrigued by the mysterious codes of light and sound you are sure are embedded in crop circles, or simply have a feeling that you would like to work with beings who are more spiritually evolved than humanity, then you are being given a clear message with this oracle. There are beings in other worlds that are very aware of your open, loving attitude and the work you are doing. They are actively responding to your thoughts and feelings. Since we live in a free will zone on Earth, we must extend an invitation to receive assistance. Because you are unafraid and resonate from a place of peaceful curiosity and higher level awareness, you are capable of issuing the needed invitation to those that can assist humanity from a place of unconditional love. Of course, there are forces in the broader universe, just as there are forces in the natural world here on Earth that would not be so helpful to the triumph of love on this planet. Therefore, we must issue our invitation to the forces of light with a peaceful heart and a wise mind. The invocation below has been carefully crafted to attain that purpose. You are asked to use it whenever you feel the need to do so, knowing that you are part of a bridge between humanity and other loving worlds that want to assist life on Earth. They thank you now and offer this blessing to you and to life on Earth in all ways possible. Okay, I'm going to read the invocation in case you are feeling like, this Mercury Cazimi would be a powerful time to connect, especially with it being in Pisces. Here is the invocation you can come back to. As a member of the human race, through my own free will and for the greatest good, I call upon all beings that resonate with the quality of unconditional love and wish to assist humanity and Earth to evolve on the path of divine love. I ask for the unconditionally loving ascended masters that serve Christ consciousness to be the gateway through which permission is confirmed for these beings to enter Earth's field and assist humanity according to divine will, grace, and love. May all beings be happy and free. So be it. Well, I know I said not to go down a rabbit hole, but that card definitely took us down a rabbit hole. There's so much I could get into about aliens and starseeds and angels and other dimensions, but I think we all have our own individual relationships with those concepts. And I think this message is a great invitation to tap in to whatever you believe in tonight, early tomorrow morning. Maybe start your day with a meditation, especially if you live on the West Coast during Mercury Cazimi, and see if you come from a place of loving awareness and wisdom and protecting your energy, but also being open to insight, seeing what comes through, regardless of where it comes from or how it got there. Just allowing yourself to connect with higher consciousness, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe you're seasoned and practiced in this. Maybe this is totally unfamiliar and kind of scary to you. And maybe this looks like praying to God. Maybe this looks like channeling some aliens. Maybe it looks like communicating with your angels. It doesn't have to be scary. It can look like whatever you want it to look like, but there is this opportunity late tonight for clarity, so we know how to take action when Aries season begins. Being in the mess, letting it be messy, really being in our body, staying open to insights. So in the coming days, we know where we're going and how to move forward. Just keep connecting with spirit, even if you don't get the clarity you need. Yeah, and also, our lifetime is like a blip on the radar of infinity, right? Or on the timeline. And what seems like a long time to us, a few weeks, a few days, even a few months is like a second to other beings, right? So keep connecting, and that is just you staying open, trusting, and trusting that everything will come to you and you need to know it. Everything is coming in divine timing. To quote Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Love it. Yes. Just because I love the opportunity of clarity, but it's kind of like we will only get what we need now, if that makes sense. Yes. I think staying open to connect. You can ask a question. You might not get the answer right now. You might get the answer in a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, or a couple years. But asking the question is powerful. It's saying, I intend to gain clarity on this part of my life. I think also, though, staying open to just, I'm open to receive whatever I need to know right now. I'm open to receive higher guidance right now. Yeah. Well, that was a powerful card. I know. Mercury and Pisces. Get out of Pisces. Like, I'm done. I'm done with Mercury and Pisces. But Mercury Cazimi and Pisces, we kind of love that for inspirational insight to come through. So we'll take it. We'll deal with Mercury and Pisces for a few more days, because it could be like a beam of sun shining directly through a cloud. You know what I mean? It's foggy, but there can be those flashes that are like, I clearly see the light right now. Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. Thank you for flowing with me, for showing up with me when you can. I hope that you are navigating these energies as gracefully and easily as possible. And I hope that this video gave you a little more support and helped you just reflect on whatever you're feeling right now. It's okay to be a mess. It's okay to be irritable. It's okay to not be your best self all the time. Know that clarity is coming, but just give yourself grace as you ride the waves. Thank you to everyone who continues to show up for themselves, for this community. You fill me up with so much light every time I do a live stream, and I cannot express my gratitude enough. And if you're new here, welcome. We're so excited to have you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep these forecasts coming to you for free every weekday. I will be back tomorrow morning because I have to be back tomorrow morning. And I think spring is coming, and it'll be a little easier to come out of the winter cocoon that I've been in. But tomorrow we'll talk through the energy of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and a little bit of history on St. Patty's Day. Our lovely friend Diane sent me a whole write-up that I will share with you all. We've talked about this, I think, a little bit before, but Pluto is moving into Aquarius when everybody is like, we are rebelling against St. Patrick's Day. It's the last thing to crumble with Pluto and Capricorn, right? Everybody's like, we're not subscribing to this anymore. So it'll be an interesting conversation we can all have tomorrow. And I wish you a restful night of sleep, maybe some flashes of clarity through Mercury Cazimi. I will see you all tomorrow, but until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website.
But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.